Hey everyone, this is a video in response to a comment made by, I believe his name was Nick Hendricks, on the Zombie Go Boom Survivalist group forum on Facebook, of which I am an admin, along with Chuck Moran and Charles Fultz. And he posted a picture of his katana, wanting to see other people's swords. So this is my response. Keeping in mind this is just swords, not including all of my other outdoors equipment and tools like my large collection of axes and machetes and very large knives. Though I have included the Cold Steel Katana machete just because it is a very sword-like machete, though I do have a 300 style machete. But I figured I would include this, even though I'm leaving out my machetes, because it reminds me so much of a ninjato, aka a ninja sword. Not entirely sure which version of the katana machete it is, because I do believe they have brought out a few different versions of it with varying blade lengths, but I'm thinking about giving that one a camo job, just to make it into like a jungle ninja sword type thing. Starting at the bottom, that there I believe is a Godao or something like that. The Chinese name for that blade down the bottom translates to horse knife. It is a horse for, as far as I can tell, chopping through horses, and of course the rider, though the construction is a bit questionable. The steel at the very tip seems a bit on the soft side. It's grinding quite easily, so I'm not sure how hard the temper is on it. This was quite a cheap model. It's a very rough version. I'm told that I'm told that it's got a tang running all the way through it, though in my experience with cheaper production blades from China, I would not be surprised if it was just a thin rat tail tang running all the way through it. And the edge geometry is absolutely disgusting. That geometry I wouldn't even want on an axe. It's just it widens out way too far. So this needs some heavy modification on the blade geometry to make it an efficient cutting blade. However, once I finally get around to fully modifying that beast, ooh, that'll be a very powerful chopper. Pretty much, as long as the construction holds up, it would be a monstrous anti-zombie sword. Because, well, if it's designed to go through horses and riders, it would be monstrous against zombies. And of course, big handle for lots of leverage and reach. Bring up. We've got Chinese Jan. I've tested that one. It does chop all right. It'll cleave right through a coconut. It's not so good for stabbing because of I'm guessing more to do with the thinness of the blade. It will penetrate soft tissue very easily. However, if the tip encounters bone, it will probably roll very badly, based on my test video, which you can also find on my channel, No BS Zombie Survival. But it's not a bad sword. Thinking about possibly converting it over to a long sword style handle, but I quite like this one, though not my first choice as a zombie slayer because it's got a very thin rat tail tang that's screwed on the end and not pinned, though from research I've been doing, there's a slight advantage to having it screwed in that because it's such a low-end piece, it will develop a bit of play in the handle. If it was pinned, I would not be able to fix that myself, but I can tighten it up if it becomes loose. So, you know, there's pros and cons to it being threaded. But overall, probably not my first choice. And while this is a functional sword to a certain extent, I have more durable options. Which brings us to my first katana I ever bought, though you may notice it's been modified. This is a battle ready katana I bought from Warsword. This is what they refer to as an entry-level katana, so it's durable enough to do a bit of backyard hacking. You know, it's good enough to do some chopping with. It will hold up, and it has taken a bit of a beating. I have done heavier chopping than a blade like this should be used for, and it's still in one piece, so it is a functional sword. And I have given it a camouflage wrap. There's a vinyl camouflage wrap with a real tree style camo with an organic camouflage pattern, and it actually looks like things out in nature. Here is the blade. You can see here it has been pushed, it has warped a little. That was from, well, chopping things way too hard for a sword to be used against, and I really shouldn't have been using this sword as hard as I was. Not sure what type of steel it is, but it has been holding up quite well. It is a carbon steel. It oxidizes very quickly and creates stains, but it is a functional sword, though I am thinking about putting either a patina on it or some kind of camo job on the blade, just so it's an even more hardcore camo. Next we've got my pride and joy as far as swords are concerned. This is the top of the line for my katanas. This is, well, this is my most expensive one. It normally retails for around $300, and that is very good value for money. It is a mono steel katana, meaning it does not have a second harder piece of steel inserted into it to form the edge of the blade. However, from research with modern steels, that's apparently not really that necessary, and from the research I've been doing, that can cause a decrease in durability in a blade as opposed to it being mono steel. But I don't know, I'd have to really be certain of my research before I did a video discussing that. But it has very good bindings in the handle, very lovely finish, and it is differentially heat treated with a traditional clay tempering. It has a hamon, and it has had the traditional Japanese clay differential heat treating to make it a differentially heat treated blade, having a harder edge and a softer spine. And you can see that wavy line, that is called the hamon. That is where the soft and hard tempered steel meet. So this is a very nice sword, and you will notice it's got a slightly longer handle and a few inches longer blade, and it is a noticeably heavier blade. That one, definitely a beast. If I had to take just one of these swords, it would be this baby here, even though it's not camouflaged, just because this is considerably higher quality than any of my other swords. So that is my sword collection. I've been very much restraining myself from purchasing more. I've been wanting a Ninjato for quite some time, partially because, well, they're ninjas and ninjas are awesome, but also I figured might be a cool sword for hunting. As well as I've been eyeing off, I believe they are Nodachis. There's been a few I've been looking at, including one that has just a larger than normal katana handle and a 2-meter blade, as well as ones with a handle closer to a meter with the same overall length. But it's a bit technical. I really like the one I've been looking at with a 2-meter blade on it, just because it's, you know, it's like a, I guess you would call it a Sephiroth style sword. It is just enormous. However, the ones with the shorter blade but longer handle and same overall length have thicker blades. Just the ones I've been looking at. But here I am rambling about swords I don't even have. So, alright everyone, just thought I'd share this for the Zombie Go Boom Survivalist group on Facebook, so you can check it out. Alright everyone, hope you have a good one. See you.